General 2-3 Regulations, Maintenance Forms, Records, and Publications. Welcome. Let's turn our attention to aircraft engines. It's crucial to note that each of the four preceding 14 CFR regulations mandates that the engine used in the aircraft must be type certified. Enter Title 14 CFR Part 33, a regulation that delves into the specifics for both reciprocating and turbine-style aircraft engines. Part 33 not only outlines design and construction requirements but also sets forth block test requirements. These block tests subject the engine to rigorous and demanding trials, proving its capability to endure the stresses of powering the aircraft. This comprehensive approach ensures that aircraft engines meet stringent standards for safety, reliability, and performance. Similar to engines, every propeller used on an aircraft must also be type certificated. Title 14 CFR Part 35 organizes its content similarly to Part 33. Subpart B specifies design and construction criteria, while Subpart C covers tests and inspections, ensuring that propellers meet rigorous standards. It's essential to note that, over the years, regulations evolve, and not every aircraft currently flying adheres to the most recent design regulations. When regulations are updated, they are published in the Federal Register and assigned an amendment number, linking them to the revised regulation. Aircraft, however, are required to meet the specifications in force at the time of their construction. A crucial point to consider is that this statement doesn't apply to mandatory requirements imposed by airworthiness directives, AD. ADs typically have a compliance date specified in the text of the note, making them exceptions to the general rule. Now, despite the meticulous emphasis on proper design and certification testing, the day-to-day use of aircraft can sometimes lead to unanticipated wear or failures. When such events occur, and the FAA determines that the wear or failure represents an unsafe condition likely to exist in other products of the same design, it issues an Airworthiness Directive, AD. It's important to note that actual AD notes are not part of 14 CFR Part 39. Instead, they are published in the Federal Register as amendments to 14 CFR Part 39, specifically in Section 39.13. AD notes are crucial as they are legally enforceable rules that apply to aircraft, aircraft engines, propellers, and appliances. They play a vital role in ensuring ongoing safety and airworthiness by addressing unforeseen issues that may arise during the operational life of an aircraft. Let's delve into a regulation that lies at the heart of aviation maintenance, and it's one of the three major regulations we've previously identified. I'm referring to 14 CFR Part 43. Within its 13 rules and 6 appendices, this regulation sets the standard for maintaining all civilian aircraft currently registered in the United States. Importantly, Part 43 has a significant relationship with Part 91 and other regulations, playing a crucial role in maintaining continued airworthiness. A more detailed explanation of this regulation will be presented later in our discussion, shedding light on its pivotal role in ensuring the ongoing safety and reliability of the aircraft within the U.S. aviation landscape. Now, let's shift our focus to Title 14 of the CFR Part 45, a regulation encompassing critical requirements for the identification of aircraft, engines, propellers, replacement and modification parts, and the nationality and registration markings on U.S. registered aircraft. For all type certificated products, specific details are mandated for inclusion on a fireproof data plate or a similarly approved fireproof method. These details are crucial for proper identification and compliance. They include the builder's name as a fundamental element on the data plate, ensuring clear identification of the entity responsible for the construction of the product. The model designation is essential for categorizing and distinguishing different models of the same type certificated product. The builder's serial number provides a unique identifier for each individual product, aiding in tracking and maintenance purposes. The TC number, type certificate number, if applicable, is a key reference to the official certification granted by the aviation authorities. The production certificate number, if applicable, is an additional identifier linked to the production process and certification. For aircraft engines, the established rating is a critical detail, specifying the engine's power or performance characteristics. Reference to compliance or exemption to 14 CFR Part 34, fuel venting and exhaust emission requirements for turbine engine-powered airplanes is necessary to affirm adherence to relevant regulations. Any other information deemed appropriate by the FAA may be included, ensuring comprehensive details for safety, regulatory, or operational considerations. This allows flexibility for additional relevant information required for a particular type certificated product. Replacement and modification parts produced under Parts Manufacturer Approvals, PMA, must bear specific markings for identification and compliance. These markings include the letters FAA PMA, indicating approval by the Federal Aviation Administration under the Parts Manufacturer Approval process. Additionally, the name, symbol, or trademark of the PMA holder is included to identify the manufacturer holding the Parts Manufacturer Approval for the respective part. The part number, unique to each PMA-approved part, is marked for precise identification in maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Finally, the name and model designation for each type certificated product the part can be installed on or indicated, ensuring proper installation and adherence to type certificate specifications. These markings are crucial for traceability, maintaining airworthiness, and ensuring regulatory compliance for replacement and modification parts produced under PMA. If a part has a specified replacement time, inspection interval, or other related procedure specification in the maintenance manual or instructions for continued airworthiness, ICA, it must have a part number and a serial number, or the equivalent. Life-limited parts must be appropriately marked, or the manufacturer must provide marking instructions. Exceptions are made for parts that are too small to practically mark the required data. Moving on to nationality and registration marks, commonly known as the N number for U.S. registered aircraft. Their size can vary depending on the year of the aircraft's construction and repainting status. The most common size is at least 12 inches in height, but smaller sizes may be used for certain categories of aircraft. It's important to note that this regulation applies to both original and recurrent airworthiness, signifying its significance in ensuring proper identification and compliance across the aviation landscape. Now, let's touch on the regulation that outlines the requirements for registering aircraft. This regulation, likely under 14 CFR Part 47, covers procedures for both owner and dealer registration of aircraft. Proper adherence to these procedures is essential for establishing ownership and ensuring compliance with aviation regulations. Let's explore Title 14 CFR Part 65, a regulation that addresses various individuals crucial for the smooth and efficient operation of the U.S. aviation fleet. While pilots, flight instructors, and ground instructors fall under 14 CFR Part 61, flight crew other than pilots are certificated under 14 CFR Part 63. However, a range of other professionals required for aviation operations are covered under Part 65. Part 65 of the Federal Aviation Regulations, FAR, delineates various roles within aviation, each covered by specific subparts. These subparts encompass air traffic control tower operators, aircraft dispatchers, mechanics, repairmen, and parachute riggers. Each subpart outlines the qualifications, certifications, and responsibilities pertinent to individuals engaged in these diverse and crucial roles within the aviation industry. A more detailed discussion of this chapter, with a special emphasis on mechanics, is included in Chapter 15, the Mechanic Certificate. It's worth noting that special federal aviation regulations, SFARs, such as SFAR 102, provide relief for specific situations, like U.S. military and civilian personnel assigned outside the United States in support of U.S. Armed Forces operations. These SFARs often have specific and limited time frames, highlighting their specialized nature. Now, let's turn our attention to the final regulation of the three major regulations we identified earlier in this chapter. This regulation falls under Title 14 CFR Part 91 and plays a crucial role in the operational aspects of aviation. You can visually see its interaction with other regulations, indicating its operational involvement or recurrent airworthiness. While it primarily focuses on the owner, operator, and/or pilot of the aircraft, it's important for maintenance technicians to be aware of certain aspects. For instance, in Section 91.207, focus on paragraph C2, which specifies the battery replacement interval for emergency locator transmitters, ELTs, and the requirement for a logbook entry indicating the expiration date of the new battery. Section 91.213 highlights paragraph A2, emphasizing that a letter of authorization from the Flight Standards District Office, FSDO, authorizing aircraft operation under a minimum equipment list, MEL, constitutes a supplemental type certificate, STC. This authorization must be carried in the aircraft during flight. For technicians, Subpart E, maintenance, preventive maintenance, and alterations, sections 91.401 through 91.421, as particularly relevant. Technicians should be well versed in this subpart, as it holds indirect responsibility for them. Note the direct connection from 14 CFR Part 91 to 14 CFR Part 43, emphasizing that maintenance, preventive maintenance, or alterations must align with regulations outlined in this subpart and other applicable rules, including Part 43 of this chapter, 91.403b. A detailed exploration of Subpart E will be presented later in this chapter to provide a comprehensive understanding of its implications for maintenance technicians. Now let's delve into an overview of 14 CFR Part 119 to better understand the next three regulations we'll be discussing. Parts 121, 125, and 135. Advisory circulars, ACTs, in the 120 series offer additional non-regulatory information regarding the procedures involved in these operations, with over 50 ACTs in the 120 series alone. To determine the applicable regulation, we analyze three criteria. Private carriage or common carriage. A carrier becomes a common carrier when it holds itself out to the public, indicating a willingness to furnish transportation for compensation. This can be done through various means, not just signs and advertising. If there's no holding out, it's private carriage. For hire or not for hire. For hire generally means collecting compensation, including direct and indirect expenses and a profit margin for the operator. Large or small aircraft. Determined by the maximum certificated takeoff weight. Aircraft with 12,500 pounds or more are considered large, while those under 12,500 pounds are small. Common carriage operations fall under 14 CFR Part 121 or 135, while private carriage may be conducted under 14 CFR Part 91 or 125. In the realm of aviation, the designation airworthy is crucial, denoting that an aircraft is in a condition suitable for safe operation and adheres to its approved type design. The term extends its coverage to various elements within the aviation domain, encapsulating aircraft, aircraft engines, or aircraft propellers. The term product in aviation encompasses a broader scope, including aircraft, aircraft engines, or aircraft propellers. This encompasses all elements within the aircraft system, ensuring a comprehensive approach to airworthiness. Within the aviation context, the term record pertains to any form of documentation that serves to preserve or convey information. This includes a range of formats, such as paper records, microfilm, electronic records, and identification plates. Moving into the realm of airworthiness, it is vital to distinguish between original airworthiness and recurrent airworthiness. The primary regulatory frameworks governing aircraft airworthiness are delineated in 14 CFR Part 21. Certification procedures for products and parts, 14 CFR Part 43, maintenance, preventive maintenance, rebuilding, and alterations, and 14 CFR Part 91, general operating and flight rules. Understanding these distinctions helps in applying the relevant regulations for different flight operations. If you click like and subscribe and leave a comment, we will provide a coupon for a free PDF download, one of 9 ebooks. However, each individual can only download up to 1 out of 9 ebooks for free.